Yo, what's good, everyone? This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and we're here to talk about why Triple G should retire from boxing. So recently, news broke that Triple G has vacated his WBA super title at middleweight, thus elevating Landy Lara from the regular WBA champion to the sole recognized WBA champion at middleweight. Lara has been Triple G's mandatory ever since Triple G unified the IBF and the WBA titles against Murata in April 2022. After losing to Canelo in the trilogy, the WBA ordered Triple G to defend his title against Lara, but Triple G tried to petition the IBF to order a mandatory instead. However, the IBF mandatory never came, and Triple G vacated his IBF belt in February. A WBA purse bid was going to be held to make the fight between Lara and Triple G, but Triple G has decided to vacate instead of taking on the challenge. And this right here, no matter how you try to spin it, is clearly a duck move. And yes, Triple G, the former boogeyman at middleweight that everyone was avoiding at one point, has ducked Lara. And this is a clear sign that Triple G should retire from boxing because he does not want to smoke from any top competitor at middleweight anymore. I know that Triple G is 40 years old and he's out of his prime, so I understand why he doesn't want to fight dangerous fights anymore, but truth be told, Triple G has been very selective on who he wants to fight ever since he lost to Canelo in 2018, and Triple G's choice of opponents has been one of the main reasons why the middleweight division has been so stagnant in these last 3 years. Fans like to put the blame on Jermall Charlo, Demetrius Andre, and Jaime Munguia for the stagnation at middleweight, and they definitely deserve criticism, but Triple G has flew underneath the radar, and he does deserve criticism. Since 2018, Triple G has had the time and opportunity to make big fights against top-tier opponents and further enhance his legacy, but he's barely done anything. It seemed like he became obsessed with the Canelo trilogy, while Canelo went on to do bigger and better things. Only thing that Triple G has accomplished was becoming a unified champion against Ryota Murata, and don't get me wrong, being a unified champion at the age of 39 is definitely a feat, but when you take a closer look, you can make some legit criticisms. Murata is a good fighter, but compared to everyone else at the time, he was actually the weakest champion at middleweight. He never actually fought for the WBA super title, but was elevated to super champion once Canelo left middleweight, therefore making Murata an email champion. The other champions at the time were Demetrius Andre, who was the WBO champion, and Jermall Charlo, the WBC champion. Both of those guys are better fighters than Murata, they are more accomplished, and they make more compelling fights to the fans compared to Murata. Keep in mind that both were calling out Triple G at the time, and Andre was signed to the Zone, which is the same network as Triple G. So, why did Triple G fight Murata? The simple answer is money. Murata is popular in Japan since he was an Olympic gold medalist, and the Japanese were willing to pay Triple G a lot of money. And I'm not hating on Triple G for getting to the bag, no. I'm hating on Triple G because he could have easily made fights with Andre and Charlo, especially Andre within the time frame of 2018 to now. But he decided to fight lesser opponents and be inactive. This stagnated the entire division for about 3 years. It's good that Triple G has vacated both of his titles. This will now allow for more fights to happen, thus making middleweight interesting again. Don't get me wrong, Triple G was a Hall of Famer for sure and was a great fighter. He was definitely the boogeyman for a long time. But honestly, I believe he was an underachiever in his career. In hindsight, Triple G should have moved up to 168 when he was in his prime to fight Andre Ward. Win or lose, I've always felt that would have enhanced his legacy. And it's a shame because his defining legacy moment in his career is being robbed of victory against Canelo, and it's always tough living in someone else's shadow. This is why I believe Triple G should retire. He has nothing else to gain, and it's better to end on a moral victory. I don't see him fighting at the highest levels again. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like and subscribe, and more content's coming your way.